Alright, so as you guys can see, I pulled out the rear subframe. I'm going to try and get the diff mounted and the arms and everything. I want to give you guys a quick, first off, I'm sorry about the mess. Usually I move all this stuff outside when I'm working, but being that it's raining and super windy outside, I didn't do that today, so I'm trying to work around all of the other stuff that's in here. The car parts and totes and wood, and I mean it's a nightmare, and I'm sorry about that. But I pulled out the stuff. I wanted to give you guys a quick little view. So this is what Josh sent. All the arms and everything, they kind of look like this. There's a bunch of them. Some of them don't have this. Some of them just have two heim joints. But yeah, so little flange for the sway bar mount. It's pretty cool. A little heim joint. Tighten this up, extend it however length you need. Get a good look at that. The weld's pretty good. It looks pretty good. But now, this is what Volk sent me. Same thing. What do you guys think? I think we're going to use this one, because it's super badass. Still got the heim joint for the sway bar mount. Comes with its own little insert and everything. These are super tight. I went ahead and tried mocking it up already once. It's awesome. But we're going to go ahead and get these installed on the new tubular subframe and get the diff installed and hopefully get it back in the car so I can put the brakes back on and get this thing rolling. But we'll get into it. what's happening? Welcome back and thanks for watching. So, as you guys saw, I started working on the rear subframe. I got it pulled out. I got everything all mocked up. I had to do quite a bit of modifications because I was running Volk Metalcraft arms with an NDD frame. Some of the bolts were just half-inch bolts that went through, and the heim joints and everything weren't really fitting well. I mean, I could have run some sleeves and all that, but I opted to drill out to a 5/8 inch grade 8 bolt. So we got it all mocked up, installed. I've got the fronts over here. I don't know if you guys can see it, but right there down on the ground behind me, we have the front subframe. I haven't finished mocking that up yet, but if you guys look right down here, we have got everything in the back looking really pretty. I still have to mock up and fix the fuel tank filler neck, but we got Volk arms on an NDD frame, and I think it looks pretty good. So I did end up adjusting all of the coilovers in the rear. They were super compressed, a whole lot of preload on them. So I went ahead and got that unloaded and adjusted correctly. I did extend them quite a bit so the car won't be low. I got to get it on a trailer and get it down to modern image as quickly as possible. So I'm trying to get everything working, but we're not going to go with coilovers anyway. We're going to go with the air ride system. So I'm just getting everything under the car and those coilovers installed, lengthened, so that the car will be nice and high so we can get it on the trailer without scratching the bumper or anything like that. I did order new pads and shoes and everything, all the hardware kits for the back. I have not ordered the spindles yet. I'm going to get all brand new wheel bearings and spindles for this car to go on these knuckles, obviously. But I did order everything else. I said I wasn't going to spend no money, but I did anyway. But that's all right. Hopefully I'll be able to work a day or two of overtime. Right now, overtime is really tight, so I'm crossing my fingers. But we're going to start jamming on the car. We're going to try and get... I did paint this rear sway bar. We're going to try and get it installed. And I did mock up the fronts. I still have to make sure I have all the right bolts and put the front together. But we're going to try and get that done today. And I went and bought all of the metal for the chassis mount wing. We might start mocking up the stanchion for that. I've got to finish the X, weld it, grind it all nice and flat and pretty, and then I got to put the two top plates on. The one that goes on the hatch and the one that goes on the top of that make contact to each other. Once I do that, that should be done. I can flat black paint that up, and I think that's going to be about it today. I had a really big list. I don't know where it went. So let's see here. Yeah, I don't know where it went. I have a list somewhere. It's probably in my bag. But we're going to try and get all of that, all of the subframe stuff installed. I might do the wire harness so I can finish buttoning up the fuse box. But I'm not sure about that because I still got to give this thing a couple of coats of paint. And if we got a really awesome wire harness in there with all brand new looming, and I hit it with the paint, it's going to look like crap. So I don't know that I'm going to install that yet. but we are definitely gonna get the subframes underneath of it and everything else. I could tape those off fairly easy, just wrap some plastic around it. So with that being said, we're gonna go ahead, and I want to do some more cleaning. As you can see, I got tools and parts and pieces everywhere. I want to get the front mount intercooler back on, the bumper back on, and everything all buttoned up. So in theory, crossing my fingers, we can get this car back on the ground. If we can get this car back on the ground, rolling and steering, she'll be ready to go to San Diego to Modern Image. And that's the main goal. So other than that, I guess we'll start to jamming out on the front subframe and see if we've got some. I have some bolts here, some space. I don't even know what these are to. A couple of sleeves and a couple of spacers, I think. We got some other hardware in the last box that Josh sent me from NDD. So we'll get to jamming out on that, try and get the front end all squared away. I'm going to put the coilovers in the rear, and we'll get some time lapses here and there and see how badass we can make it. Tighten that up all the way. I'm just going to tighten it up enough to where it holds it up and off the ground, because we don't have any of the hardware kit or the rear shoes yet, but I am going to put this back together a little bit because I don't want. And we're going to have to clean that up and put some new grease in it. But I don't want the little caliper banging up my nice pretty Volt arms. So we're going to go ahead and put this back together. Now, I don't have to cinch it all down and tighten it all up because we're not going to be putting it back together all the way yet, because like I said, we don't have the rotor and all that stuff put on. I'm just putting it on so that the caliper's not dangling around and hitting my nice expensive Volt arms. But that's that. We got the shock in, super extended, probably a good 3.5–4 inches. The coil up top is nice and seated just enough to where it's not got a whole bunch of preload on it. However, it's got a little bit so it doesn't flop around and everything, but it's not super compressed like it was. So in theory, this car should be quite a bit higher now that that we extended that and put everything back together. So I'm super jazzed. This is looking really good. I don't really like the sway bar. I I don't really like it at all. It's really close to. I mean, I haven't bolted it and mocked it up into its correct position yet, but I think it might get in the way. And the fact that it's not bolted up and it's resting on my beautiful Volk arms is kind of irritating the crap out of me right now. But I'm gonna see what I can do about that. I haven't tightened up the main bars yet, control arms and all that, because I got the bigger bolts and the shank is just a little bit long. Doesn't matter about the threads. The threads are hidden. They're not. I'm not really worried about that. But the shank that the heim joint rests on is just a little too long, so it goes through the other side. So I need a nice washer or two, one on each side, to close that shank up to where I can bolt it and secure it tight. But other than that, I am really jazzed. Everything back here is all squared away and put together. And I'm going to go do the exact same thing on the other side. Get this one put in, the shock put in, brakes, put everything back together. And then we'll probably start working on the front subframe. I'm not sure how that exactly bolts up, but we're going to go and play with it and see if we can't figure it out.
How it's supposed to feel.